call on tonight, on whatever platform you may be from. I just thank God for you on tonight. And I welcome you to Loosen the Cords That Bind, the segment called Let's Talk About It. We are going to have a conversation on tonight, and we're going to deal with some issues on tonight. But first, my name is Eleanor, Dr. Eleanor Thompson. I am the CEO of Loosen the Cords That Bind LLC. This is a for profit business. I am your host on tonight, and I thank you again for joining me, for allowing me to come into your home at this time of night. I thank God for that. Like I said before, whatever the platform that you may be, thank you for allowing me to be with you on tonight. I thank God, and I want to take the time out to thank God, for Pastor Captain Paul tonight and his lovely wife, Elder Michelle Paul, the owners of TrueLifeRadio.net, and I just speak blessings over their life, continually blessings, for even for being a blessing to the people of God. On every level. Thank God for them on tonight. And when you get a chance, support this particular radio station. It's a blessing to so many. You know, in our industry, as like I said, as church per se, music, they have a little bit of something for everyone. So when you get an opportunity to tune in and listen to them, again, when you get the opportunity, I would like you to like, click, and share what I'm saying and what I'm doing on this particular platform. This is a platform for domestic violence. However, there are things that I say or may deal with that it may not be so much, but domestic violence, but it's still connected to relationships, and everybody can deal what can come with the term of relationships. Correct? No matter if it's an abusive relationship or it's a regular relationship, dealing with relationships. So tag, click, and share when you get an opportunity. Guess what? Because if you share it, someone will hear it. Again, if you share it, someone will hear it. And again, I am on this particular platform every second and fourth Tuesdays of the month. And I thank God for this last Tuesday in this year that I am still here. I'm giving God the praise and still doing what He has called for me to do at this time in this season of my life. And I just want to bless God for that, even from January up until now. I thank God for it. Again, if there are any problems, if you have an issue or an abusive relationship, if it's an emergency, please call 911. But these are some numbers like Safe Horizon. They deal with a lot of issues and things, and they can definitely help you out. You can call that number, and that number is 1-800-621 4673, right? Again, that number is 1-800-621-4673. And if you can't remember the 4673, it spells HOPE, HOPE. And the next number, if you're outside of New York, the hotline for abuse is 1-800-799-7233. Again, that number is 1-800-799-7233. And if you can't remember the 7233, it's SAFE, SAVE. Amen. And if you would like to reach out to me, you can contact me at this number, and that's 1-800-454-4639. And as I always say, if you're calling me, please be specific, be clear, so that I may understand what you're saying, and let me know if it's okay to call you back, because you could be in a situation that's that could be an issue, and I don't want to cause anybody to get hurt or whatever the case would be. So again, you let me know if it's okay to return your call. Amen. Amen. So on tonight, I will be continuing this particular lesson, this session. And the last session, I was having a conversation with you about the narcissist. And I started off by mentioning that abuse like trauma or mental illness is often invisible. And I mean by that is the fact that trauma, you cannot see it. If you don't really have an eye to really see it, you cannot be seen, right? So just like emotions, you can't really you can when the emotions are displayed, you can see them. But like emotional abuse, some people will throw it's not abuse, but yes, it is abuse. It's something that you can't see, but it's there. They're not You're not seeing what they're going through, but they're feeling it. And emotions plays really, it really plays on your body until your body feels like the emotion. When somebody's dealing with emotional abuse, they feel that like it's physical because the body kind of reacts that way, and that's the way our body is so um, made that it's, we are definitely wonderfully, fearfully and wonderfully made because the way God set this thing up, it's so awesome. But however the case would be, you cannot see it, but it's there, and so and if somebody said there, in emotional abuse, you can't say, well, it's not abuse because it is abuse. And also remember, and those suffering from that particular abuse at the hands of a narcissist, and a narcissist is not only could be a partner, but it also could be a parent or a friend. So it comes in different things. It's not steady just for one thing. It's not just for a partner or a spouse or whatever. It's a parent. A parent can be narcissistic as well, and also a friend. So I'm giving you some keys so that you can watch out and so you can be aware of it. But sometimes we sometimes sleep on things until it happens and it's fully blown, and then we want to wake up and do something. But sometimes you have to move when it's a timing thing. It's strategic. Okay. So now remember, as I stated, that the narcissistic behavior is characterized by self-centeredness, a lack of empathy, and it's an exaggerated or distorted or far-fetched, overstated sense of a person's self-importance. And did I mention arrogance? They're very full of arrogance, conceitedness, superiority, and very boastful as well. Now, these behaviors are also a part and description of the narcissistic personality disorder, and is known medically or clinically as the NPD. And again, that's narcissistic personality disorder. And I went into a little bit of that last time. And this particular personality disorder, or this NPD, is diagnosable. It's a diagnosable condition. It's like borderline personality disorder, and it's even driven by self-interest, a desire for power and control. And we know that domestic abuse is all about power and control. Because if they know that they show you that, and they see that they get you to that point that you're afraid or whatever, they could be able to control you by that fear, right? And also, and an avoidance of unpleasant emotions and personality accountability as well. This is really a serious condition. The NPD, the narcissistic personality, is a very serious condition, and it's a very dangerous one as well. Now, as I was stating before, how narcissistic abuse is a form of emotional abuse, because it is perpetrated by someone who suffers from narcissism or sociopathy, right? Sociopathy, I would say, and that which means it's lunatic or insane, right? We all say crazy people, but they have a name, So, and that doesn't sound so nice sometimes when we say those things. However, we have to be very with our words, very careful, even so when we are addressing or labeling people, because sometimes it doesn't make people feel good about that. Some don't have control, and some do. Now, particularly these individuals have a tendency, whether conscious or unconscious, to use words or language in a manipulative way to damage, alter, or otherwise control their partner's behavior. And sometimes that people can be controlled by words. You may know somebody or love somebody, whatever, and the words that they say, it can really control those emotions that we have. So, like I said, don't get in a conversation with a person and stuff like that. And if you're not strong-willed, if you weak-minded, just take flight and leave, because they will have you eating out of their hands, per se, right? And these individuals also have a tendency, whether conscious, I said, or unconscious, just to use the manipulative words that they do, what they can do, or how they make you act or feel. So we learned that the narcissists are so abusive because they are primed, which means they're rehearsed, provoked, or prepared. And I was reading, as I think, as I mentioned before, that like a mother, she was a narcissist, and she really didn't really love the children, but there was one that she was grooming, and she loved this child because of the fact that she saw herself in him. You know, he was the golden child, and you know, he did, and they did their evil together, and which made her feel good about herself because she saw herself in what he was doing. Now, there are parents like that, and you know, they're, like I said, their wives or maybe their husbands are like that as well. But you know, that's why as Christians we must pray, you know, and ask God to lead us and guide us. And then when we are in relationships, or even one in marriage, or wanting a spouse, we have to let the Lord deal with certain things, and if it's yes or no, we have to be all right with that answer that He gives us, especially if we are asking Him to show us, you know, or to help us in we're choosing. So we have to be okay with whatever that answer is. Sometimes it's yes, then no, maybe it's just wait. And waiting is not a bad thing. Let me tell you that it's definitely not a bad thing. So, you know, like I said before, these people are, you know, they are learned, you know, they are primed for certain things. And as with all three, I would say of the major categories of personality disorders, in which they are borderline, narcissistic, and schizo. They also, the people with the NPD or the narcissistic personality disorder, they really they lack what you call the thing that I was looking at, and I said that I needed to go into that, and that is whole object relations and object constancy, right? And what that is basically is object constancy. This is the ability for them to maintain a positive emotional connection, as stated, and I'm reading it. As the definition, it says, to someone that you like while you are angry, hurt, or frustrated, or even disappointed by his or her behavior. And what do I mean by that? I'm so glad that you asked that. The fact of the matter is that this means or refers to the ability, if someone does something that disappoints you, to put that in the context of the relationship, the whole relationship. For example, I may feel hurt and disappointed, but I don't hate you. You are still the person who is my dear friend, I would say, and it's still in context. Now, if you don't have object constancy, there is no context whatsoever. And that means context meaning here is meaning that there's no framework, there's no connection or no condition at all. So they're not, the narcissist is not putting this together that they know you or whatever the case would be. They're like separated from you. They separate themselves because they don't feel no kind of connection with you once you make them angry for whatever reason. It doesn't even matter. And again, now with the whole, that's because you have the whole object relate constancy, and you have this the object constancy, and you have the whole object relations. Basically, and that for the whole object relations is this is the capacity to see oneself and others in a stable and integrated way that acknowledges both the person's good and the bad qualifications or the qualities, right? And integrated here means that join, unify, or mix or combine. Now, without these two, now without the object constancy or the whole object relationship, people with the NPD can only see themselves and other people in two ways. Either they are special, unique, perfect, and entitled, or they are defective and worthless or garbage. So they don't see no in between. So when you're angry with them, that's why they can abuse so well, because they have no connection with it. They feel that connection just leaves really fast. And like I said, unconsciously maybe, and subconsciously, but they don't care. They don't have no feelings. So all that love stuff they were talking before out the window somewhere. Now, this also means that that person struggling with narcissistic issues cannot hold on onto or their good opinions and good feelings about anyone. Once he or she notices the fact that the other person has a flaw or whatever imperfection or or weakening or defect, that person goes from being special into a person put on a pedestal to being devalued or nothing special at all about them. And again, this is how they just began to it's so easy for them to kind of start to abuse. Now the narcissists, again, on the other hand, often they seesaw back and forth between these two. Yes or no. What they gonna do when they are feeling good about you, or they are more accurate, I would say, you are making, like, they're making you feel so good about themselves. They see you as special. So even so, you may make them not feel so good about themselves or get that angry part of them. But if they, there's nobody else around, they're going to, they're going to see what you can do for them again. Can they make me feel special again? It's like it's teetering between the two. And, God forbid you fall on the wrong side of the fence at that point, as they're teetering on what they're going to do. Then you do something that they do not like, again, as I said, as even saying no to them is a problem. Now, I think everybody's entitled to their own opinions about saying no or yes. And we do have the opinion to, the whatever, to say yes or no to something, or I don't want to do it, or I don't feel like doing it. But these people, they do not, the narcissists, they cannot take no for an answer. It's like a turn down to them. Whatever they say, you have to yes them all the way, to glory and back. Otherwise, they have, like I said, the anger comes, and then the abuse comes. Again, as long as you're doing well, then you expect you to them. But once you deny any one of their requests, now you are the all bad and worthless person again. Now later on, you may do something again that's special to make them feel good again, and they're back being to, again, what you seeing you as a special person. Now I don't know about you, but how long somebody will continue to go in such a relationship as such, whereas that you don't know, it's like walking on eggshells basically. And it's hard to deal with in a relationship like that, because your emotions will be shot after a while, because you don't know if you're going to come in. You'll be so confused in that relationship. But if once you see some signs, then you need to get to stepping and do it fast. Get out of it. I don't care how fine some people say they may be. They can have 2 6-packs. I don't care. It doesn't even matter, because as women and everyone, we all need to be valued, and we all need to know our self-worth and know that we are so valuable that we do not need to take garbage and foolishness or of any kind of any abuse from anyone, whether it be physical, whether it be emotional, financial, spiritual, or not on any level, is abuse an option. There's not an option for abuse. And we as ladies and those, and even so, I'm saying ladies, but men as well are abused, but not to the extent that women are. And even so, they will not talk about it because that's like a mark, a blemish, a flaw. But coming from oh, I'm a man and I'm abused. But men, I know men that are abused emotionally. Yes, and like I said, we got people in church are abused, and all different on all different levels. But that's kind of taboo in church. But I'm going to deal with that. I'm going to deal with that part of it, and yeah. But I'm gonna go. I'm going to continue because then I'm going to get off what I'm supposed to be doing here. So at last time I also began talking about some signs of the narcissistic abuse and the type of people and stuff that they're targeting. And I talked about the verbal abuse, and then and that was the fact that on the surface, narcissists are actually they're pretty likable people, and just like with abusers themselves. And my husband, like I said, family man per se, he looked wonderful to the community. I won't call him a narcissist though. I won't put that on him, but some, then he may have some of the traits, but not all of them per se. But not a real narcissist because that one is kind of very heavy. But the fact of the matter is that they look like normal people. What does an abuser look like? How can you tell an abuser? You could be right next door to one. You could be laying right next to one, or you could have somebody in your family that's abuser. I remember in the younger days, boy, my brothers and they weren't no joke. Some of them, yeah, absolutely. So I mean, and sometimes it starts from that part of it, you know. But however the case may be, verbal abuse is just like you're punching. Your words are punching somebody in the face to that level and extent because again, your body reacts to that part. And I was dealing with the verbal abuse earlier, um, and I made mention of that, how your body reacts to it. It's just like it's protecting you in a sense. And a narcissistic person will often appear quiet, quite grandiose sometimes, with high charm and charisma. And sometimes, I'm on the radio, so I can say certain things. But however, they will talk you into oblivion all the way. They have that charm, that charisma that will do that. But that's why we cannot be so eager to get into relationships. We really have to wait and see God because the devil isn't playing about certain things, and he knows this is how he's going to get you. He's going to try it that way. So women and men, you have to be very careful about certain things. Now, note that charming personality, it belies, uh, that it's like the sneaky snake, like I said before, in the grass, very subtle and deceptive, and it's definitely the tendency for abuse, for verbal abuse. Now they shame and they bully and belittle and also threaten and criticize. I mean, I had all of that done. So I would be so ashamed sometimes because after I got kicked out or so, people will come out the door because I'm living in the building or whatever, and they will come out the door and ask, "Are you okay?" Because they hear it from the inside out. Where I had to end up going over to my mother's house, God bless her soul, because where else did I have to go at that time? So what ended up happening was the fact that the same day I went up to my mother's house, the next day she would bring me back over here, assist me back to the same place where I got beaten from. So where after a while, why run somewhere? Then you're gonna be taken back to the same place. What's the purpose? But sometimes you get out of there quick because the violence is so it's in a rage. It's so hot that you don't want to get killed in the process either. Because after a while, he was just like a maniac to a point. And often this verbal abuse can escalate in frequency, right? As to the reoccurrences of it. Sometimes you can go from 0 to 100 in a couple of seconds, the frequency of it. And, you think it's over, then the reoccurrences all over again, right? Again, the narcissists, they use verbal abuse to intimidate. That's what happened. Others and prove themselves as dominant. Again, you can use the word controlling, powerful, or commanding, or the commanding of chief and supervisor. All the varieties of narcissism, from covert, which is hidden or underhanded or masked, to malignant, to a lethal, destructive, are most often accompanied by entitlement. Now we're talking about the mask, and so many people wear them, but spiritually, people were wearing masks before the mask even came into place. Because you got all kinds of stuff under that mask. You got all kinds of demon lurking behind those masks. So it's just mask, the mask, mask, the mask. That's what happens. The mask, mask, the mask. If you got me. So again, entitlement is another one, and what it is privilege, antagonism, which is causing problems and opposition and discord. That's what that is, right? And it's a lack of empathy, and empathy again is understanding, warmth, and appreciation. So really, the narcissists don't care nothing about. They don't have none of these feelings for as appreciation and warmth and understanding. Not at all. Not by a long shot. They don't care how you feel. That's why they can say things to you that regular people would not say, even if they're angry. But they don't care how it comes out, because they have no attachment to you when they're angry. No attachment at all. None. So I can hurt your feelings. I can curse you out. I can hit you. I can even shoot you. Whatever they want to do, they will have no attachment to that. No feelings of what they did to you or what they have done to you because of that. None. Usually what happens is often the survivors feel that they have to walk on eggshells for fear of setting them off. Have you ever been around someone that you you have an issue with, or in your home, and the fact of the matter is that you don't know what to say, because whatever you say, you're like, oh my God, if I said this, you damned if you do and you damned if you don't do. So what am I going to say? What am I going to do? So that leaves you somewhat in limbo, and it becomes a prison. Because you cannot operate, and after a while you cannot function like that. Sometimes that's why when people who are not strong or whatever emotionally, they break down. They lose it because they can't take that stress, and that's high stress for real. So really, you just have to know what you want and who you are, and not be so much in a rush to be involved with someone per se, in that order right there, basically. And lastly, and I'm gonna quit because it's almost my time to be off. Now, all of these verbal abuse is an attempt by the narcissist to shift blame and embarrassment, and to prove that they are right. Now, it leaves the survivor per se of this abuse feeling wrong and fearful and embarrassed at the same time, because the narcissist is trying to shield themselves from self-loathing, or things that they dislike, or they're disgusted with. So narcissists are really it's a really bad person to be involved with. And I say to you tonight, before I close, if you are in a relationship with a narcissist, you need to get out. I don't never tell people get out of a relationship, but if you in, because this is a dangerous one, and it doesn't get any better. It doesn't get better at all. It only gets worse. And if you are like the person so much that you want to stay with them, if you love that, then if it's well for you to dwell with them, then you do that. But no, that's an unhappy life. It's a life of like a seesaw up and down. Whenever you decide that you want to be happy, or you think that you're going to be happy, here comes something else. So what you're going to do. So I admonish you, if you're in a sexual relationship, pray and ask God for direction. Because, like I said, there's no excuse for abuse. And abuse is not our option. It's not an option, not unless you want it to be one. So on tonight, before I close, I just want to thank God. I thank God for your many prayers. I thank God for your contributions, and for this year, I thank God for allowing you to just support this, being supporting to me, and I appreciate you for that. And God spare next year, when I will be talking to you, the Lord said the same. I'm going to come up with some topics, and we're going to deal with some things, and it's also, have different people coming from different things and talk about some things, probably on another level. But from me to you, I thank God for you. Bless you on tonight. Have a wonderful night and a safe night and a safe holiday. Be safe. God bless you. And again, good night until we meet again. Blessings, everyone.